Tonight on 4th Down on 4, the Saints will take 9 in a row to the playoffs, but the 49ers spoil the party, winning the NFC West. A look at the Saints' rise from the ashes and a studio visit from one of the men behind the man who made them winners.
4th Down on 4 is brought to you by Superior Acura, New York Life, McDonald's, and the Louisiana Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Bottler of Diet Coke, the 1-calorie cola, just for the taste of it. And now, here's Chris Myers.
Good evening, all, and welcome to our show. The Saints end the regular season on a high note, but hours afterwards they were down with the division title hopes when the 49ers slaughtered the Rams 48-0. San Francisco wins the NFC West. The Saints, with the second-best record in the NFL, will go to the playoffs as the wild card team. They'll host the Minnesota Vikings next Sunday in the Superdome. Now, later in the program, you'll hear from Vikings head coach Jerry Burns. We talked with him late today. We'll also check out the lines already at the Saints ticket window, where playoff seats go on sale at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Today's 33-24 packing up of Green Bay pushed the Saints past the point they hope not to return from too soon. The Saints closed the regular season the way they started it, with a rousing home-in-the-dome win and a blessing from above. Bobby Hebert and Jim Mora played hurt. The coach with a case of the flu, the quarterback with a knee injury that sent sharp pains throughout the game and affected his throwing.
It's a situation sometimes when, you got to step and throw, and let's say it was hurting, and, you're thinking about your knee, and I shouldn't have been, sometimes because, you're getting racked, and you can't worry about if you're hurt or not. You just got to go out there and make things happen. And I was just inconsistent with doing that sometimes today.
Hebert's third-quarter touchdown pass to John Tice put the Saints up to stay. After a slow start in their warm-up for the postseason, they held on to win.
I don't think guys were looking past this game. We came out a little flat. The coaches came in and told us what we had to do at halftime, and it wasn't in a soft way either. And I think guys went back out and did what they had to do to get the job done.
That came after Packer rookie quarterback Don Majkowski flipped 2 scoring passes to Walter Stanley for a 14-3 first-quarter lead. The Saints were able to stay close with 4 Morton Anderson field goals, one of which was a 52-yarder. But a sluggish ground game was just one of the Saint negatives that had Mora sweating for a while.
The things that disturbed me a little bit was offensively, we had opportunities down deep, where we, instead of getting into the end zone, we had to settle for field goals. And our protection, it seemed to me like our quarterback got hit too many times today. He got hit a bunch, and hey, that's no good. Defensively, I just don't think we played well defensively today.
But the biggest play of the day came in the fourth quarter when Saints top sacker Pat Swilling intercepted after the Saints had turned the ball over.
It's my first interception in my life. I never intercepted the ball, high school, college, anything else, because I always rushed the passer, and in college I rushed the passer all the time and everything, so I never had a chance to go back and intercept the ball. But that was my first, and after that first one, I dropped back the next time. I was kind of looking, where am I going to get the ball at, throw it to me.
That swung the momentum.
Yeah, it sure did, and I think it enabled us to win this football game.
Dalton Hilliard punched it in through the final quarter, and the Saints deflated. Packer hopes for an upset. 9 in a row and a 12-3 regular season record in only Jim Mora's second year. Is this team good enough to go all the way and win the Super Bowl?
I think this team is good enough. Yeah, I think all the 10 teams that are going to be in the playoffs are good enough, and I think we deserve to be here, and I think we have as good a chance as anybody.
All right on, Jim. The Saints will have to get through the Vikings first, though, and we're now going to go live to Kenner, where Joe Amato is with Saints players who watched their division title hopes slip away tonight. Joe?
All right, Chris, Pat Swilling was going to have a party tonight, but it pooped out about halftime because the Rams didn't hang in there tonight, Pat.
Yeah, they kind of disappointed my parties. Everybody didn't come because, Rams they didn't win the football game. We expected them to win and everything, so it kind of disappointed, and everybody kind of stayed at home. So my party's not much of a party tonight.
Well, no NFC West championship, but you're in the playoffs, and you host the wild card next week against the Minnesota Vikings, who have been tough on the Saints.
Yeah, they sure have. They played us good during the preseason. We'll just have to get ready to play and watch film this week, and it'll be a really up week for us because, you know, first game in the playoff and everything. So we'll be ready to play and have a good football game Sunday.
Let's look a little bit of the Vikings from past action, and the Vikings spread it out. They've got a great quarterback.
Yeah, they sure do. I was watching Wade Wilson this weekend when they played Washington. He does a good job of being very mobile in the pocket. He moves around and everything. So they're going to pose a big problem for us because of his mobility, and he hits his receivers. He has Carter, who's a good receiver. They have good backs, and Dozer and Nelson. So, you know, they have a good arsenal of people who can really come out and play and beat you and everything. So we'll have to just really get ready to play.
You were saying that you just don't like them. Why is that? Wow.
Well, you know, I think they have a real good football team. They come in and they play real hard. They play well. They have some good big play people. They hit you with the big play and everything, and sometimes, you know, you can get behind and everything. So, you know, I don't really like them, but it really doesn't matter who we're playing. We're just going to be excited about it and go out and do the best job we can.
Quickly, what happened to Vaughn Johnson today?
Well, I think he broke 2 ribs, and he went in, he broke in the second play of the game, and he wound up playing the whole game. Just shows some of the toughness that he has and everything. And we're going to need him, you know, next week and the coming weeks, so he's a great player for us.
All right, rest up and get ready for the Vikings next Sunday. There you go, Chris.
Thanks very much, Joe, and Pat Swilling for being with us live here on 4th Down on 4 and joining us pinch hitting for Jim Mora, who had the flu, although I'm sure it got better as the game progressed. Joe Marciano, the special teams coach, 8 kick blocks this year for the Saints, 5 punts, 3 field goals. Outstanding work. First, your reaction to playing the Vikings, and you're going to be able to block a punt?
Well, I haven't studied the Vikings yet. I feel confident we can block a punt just about every game, just like our players do. And it's going to be a tough challenge. They are noted for blocking punts and kicks, so it's going to be a good challenge for our guys, and it's going to be interesting.
Was the staff preparing for Minnesota-St. Louis, realizing that the 49ers were the team tonight and that you know, the division title hope was hanging out there?
Offensively and defensively, they have broken down some film on St. Louis and Minnesota, not knowing which team would play, and it just gives us an extra advantage going into the next week, not having to do it next week. So, yeah, we broke down a little bit of film of St. Louis and Minnesota. Is
there concern, Joe, that 2 straight games the Saints have fallen behind and are giving up a lot of points? I mean, the special teams has helped them win games before, but defensively they've got to straighten up.
Well, I can't speak for the defensive staff. You know, we try to help any way we can, and if we helped out today, good. If we didn't, then hey, when we need it, hopefully we'll be there.
All right, we're going to show how you helped out today on the return. As we return, we'll take a look at 20 years of suffering and what made this season so special. We're back alive on 4th Down on 4. We'll be here next week at 10:35 with Jim Mora to recap the wild card playoff game, and we'll follow the Saints for as long as they last in the postseason right here each Sunday night on Channel 4. Coach Marciano, we talked about the special teams doing their part. Does it make a difference when you're ahead or behind in the game, whether you're going for a punt block, you attempt to block the field goal, you go all out?
Yeah, it makes a difference. You know, when you're behind, you need something to happen. You know, you need to help the offense or make a play like block a punt. So you want to have a punt block on of some sort. When you're ahead in the game, you know, they got to come to you. They got to beat you. We're winning, so we don't want to beat ourselves and try to go for a block where you're vulnerable to a fake punt and also vulnerable to roughing the punter. And if you rough the punter, obviously that gives the ball back. And so, yeah, the lead and the score and time of the game all plays a part on what kind of call you're going to make.
Of all the kick blocks, only, I think, 1 roughing the punter call this year on the Saints.
Well, we had
correct?
2.
2?
We had 2, yeah.
Oh, well, we won't tell anybody about that. All right, talk about big plays. Today there was one. You've been making them all year on the special teams. Dalton Hilliard's big kickoff return. And, you know, they kick it. You got to go with it. Is this just skill here? The block set up? What happened?
Well, just from what I see in the sideline and right here as the tape is rolling, it worked exactly like it was supposed to go.
Except he 20
He had to beat
short.
the kicker right there. He had to beat the kicker, and we'll find out who that guy belonged to.
You'll straight out. Now, this was earlier in the year at San Francisco. This was a big play. Sutton is in, blocks it, and then I guess you just get the right bounce.
Oh, this was great. The greatest thing about this was Reggie was on the left side all game, and he had said, hey, Joe, put me on the right side. Put me on the right side. I can block it. And I said, I'll put you on the right side, but you better darn block it. And we always have a guy when we have a block on looking to what we call scoop and score. and John was in a great position to scoop and score, and again, it's one of those things that you work on, and it happened exactly like it was supposed to happen.
Briefly, what does Reggie Sutton mean? He's back with the team. He played today. How important is he for your special teams?
Well, Reggie's as important as anybody else that plays for us. All the guys on the special teams to me are important, you know. But Reggie has some what we call fast twitch muscle fibers. He can get off the ball real well, and he has a knack for blocking kicks. He blocked kicks in college. He's done it here in the pros, and we know he can do it. So it's always good to have a guy like Reggie back.
The success of the team this year as a staff, when you guys huddled training camp, did you expect this? I know you're always optimistic, but isn't this a little, you know? It's
not all being optimistic. As coaches, we go into every game, we think we're going to win it. I mean, that's, every coach does.
But 12-3, Joe, you got to be a little surprised.
Well, yeah, we're very pleased. I don't know if we're surprised or not. I'm coming, this is my 5th year with Coach Mora, and I've been with him and his philosophy and his ideas, and we've won. I know the teams here haven't won, but we've won. We expect to win, and it's great.
All right, we're going to talk more about Coach Mora. For Jim Mora and his staff, the Saints' accomplishments so far this season are but reflections of what they hope is to come. The shadows of what has been make the year of the Saints that much more enjoyable. Here a look at the Saints' rise from the ashes. John Gilliam returned the franchise's opening kickoff 94 yards for a touchdown. For the Saints, it was all downhill after that. Tom Fears, first of 10 head coaches in club history, regrets today taking the job, pointing toward owner John Meekum, who in his late 20s proved not mature enough to own an NFL franchise.
He wanted to jump around with him when we were in training camp. We used to train down in San Diego, and there's a lot of detours down there, I should say. And we got off to a wrong start. He used to send a limo out for some of the guys after my curfews and all that, and I thought we were going 180 degrees.
Meekum and his non-football-wise supporting cast acted in disagreement over draft choices and players. He wanted former Packer great Jimmy Taylor on the team, not the coach.
I knew that he was in his last years, and I also knew Jimmy wouldn't play if he was hurt. And he wasn't going to be as well protected down here, so I was not for that trade, and it took the #1 draft choice, and it took some players, too.
Saints won 3 games that first year. The next year, Taylor retired. In his 4th year, Tom Fears was fired by John Meekum.
It takes minimum 3 years, 4 years, and I'm not saying championship. Meekum used to say we're going to have a championship in our 2nd year, because I toured the state with him many places, and that was part of his speech, that by the 2nd year we'll have a championship team, and I used to go.
Get behind the tackle, like it says on the car. You understand what I'm saying? I run a damn play.
Jim Mora has done it in 2 years, part of the successful triumvirate, including owner Tom Benson and general manager Jim Finks.
With Jim Finks and with him running the show, and you know, they got one chief. They got a lot of Indians and one chief.
North, the Saints' 3rd head coach, labored under Meekum. He admits the team had the players to win with in the 70s. North went south, getting the axe in his 3rd season.
One year we'd have a respectable defense and not a good offense, and the other year we'd have a Chuck Muncie and Wes Chandler and Archie and Childs and Galbraith, and we couldn't stop anybody on defense. We never had the total overall team consistency that they have now.
Previous coaching winners like Hank Stram and Bum Phillips would sink in New Orleans. Phillips, the longest reign of any coach, 5 years, and still the league perception of the Saints was not good.
I think the one thing that you would say about the Saints is they lack continuity. They were constantly making changes, either in the front office, general manager, head coach, or player trades, and there wasn't any plan.
I wasn't interested in owning a football team. I thought it's not a good investment, but it is a good investment for the city and state.
New Orleans-born Tom Benson, educated at Loyola, was the dark horse in the spring of '85 to buy the Saints from Meekum. The rags-to-riches car-selling and banking magnate by June of '85 had defied the odds and the favorite, the Pritzker family, to take over at the wheel of the team.
I really did get knocked down. It was a very hard battle, and you know, and sometime I'd go home and say, well, am I doing this, you know, and I'd wake up the next morning more determined than ever that I was going to do it.
After observing for a year, Benson's first Cadillac move came with the hiring of Jim Finks, the architect of the Vikings Super Bowl teams, and the Bears climbed to the top. Finks hired Mora to complete the trio of Saints, mixing just the right ingredients to cook up success.
We inherited good football players. The past administration had left us with some very fine football players. That's the one thing that is different about this than other clubs. We got lucky in the draft last year, and we got some contributors. And finally, excellent coaching by Jim Mora and his staff.
Finks, Mora, and Benson aren't likely to wind up on the same dance floor. They each move to a different beat. But when it comes to success, all three seem to be in tune.
I think I shocked Finks and Mora at first, and neither one of them being from here, about what I was doing down there. But they soon learned that, hey, this is just New Orleans. We just having fun. What I'm doing is the fans. I'm just part of them, and I think that's why we're all having a good time about it. It's not me. I'm certainly not doing a very good boogie.
He's right about that, but he was dancing again today. You coached at Penn State for a year under Joe Paterno. You've been with Jim Mora, I think you said, for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Is there a similarity there?
There's a lot of similarities. I think the biggest and the most important one, I think, is they're both consistent. They're consistent when they deal with the players. They're consistent when they deal with the coaches. You know where you stand. And the other thing about Coach Mora is he's just like one of the guys. You know, he don't put himself up here above everybody or say, I'm the head coach, you know. One time he come by my office and he says, hey, Joe, you need a cup of coffee? You know, this was back when we were in the USFL. There hasn't been a head coach ever offered me to, you know, for a head coach to get me a cup of coffee ever. So he, again, he's like one of the guys, and
you guys all get along so well, the staff.
We work very well together. I think, again, another important ingredient is continuity. You know, Paul Boudreau's a new coach with us, and he's fit in extremely well. Carl Smith, Dom Capers, Steve Sidwell, they've all been around Coach Mora. They know one another. Coach knows what makes them tick. He hires them. He's hired me, John Pease. He lets us go and lets us go to work, and he doesn't bother us. So far, anyway.
So far, hey, the results, we love it. We really do. Joe, stay with us. We're going to ask you to hang around for a couple of minutes. When we return, we'll show you how Dallas and San Francisco figured in the wild card matchup and the Snow Bowl '87. Stay with us.
Seen the
Chris Myers back with you on 4th Down on 4, and thanks for staying up with us. Around the NFL's final regular season Sunday, the Saints finished with the second best record in football, but they'll play at home only once in the playoffs because the 49ers won, and they won big. Steve Young started for the Niners. Montana was in uniform. Hey, so was Jerry Rice. Another touchdown catch. Young was 10 of 13 in the first half. 13 straight games with a touchdown for Rice, an NFL record. Steve Dills opened at quarterback for the Rams, and very ineffective. As San Francisco rolled it up, Montana actually came in the game and threw a touchdown pass here to Mike Wilson, a 34-0 lead at the time, and it was all San Francisco. The Rams were never in it. 48-0 the final. The Niners record at 13-2. In Dallas, this Cowboy fan used a little too much turtle wax in watching the Cardinals and Cowboys, and Dallas plays spoilers second week in a row. Herschel Walker in for the touchdown. He had 137 yards rushing, but Lomax to J.T. Smith got the Cardinals back in the game, and Gene Stallings worried, and well, he should have been, because Steve Pelleur on the play of the game fakes to Walker and rolls for a 21-13 fourth quarter Dallas lead. But the Cards cut at 21-16 here. Last-second desperation, 4th down pass. This could have won it, but falls incomplete. The Vikes slip in through the back door. At Indianapolis, Ron Meyer has taken the Colts from worst to first with the help, of course, of Eric Dickerson. He scored twice against Tampa Bay. Dickerson ran for 196 yards to lead the Colts to now 9-6 into the playoffs. First time for them in 10 years. The final in this one with Dickerson scoring. Colts take it over the Bucs 24-6. Now we go to Denver and the Winter Olympics. Just kidding here. Look at this guy. That's Snowbiz, I guess, in Denver. Punting here, the Chargers and Broncos, Casey Clark on the return. Watch this, Joe Marciano, you can appreciate this. He needed skates on this special teams play all the way for the touchdown. Denver was down 7-0. You can't even see the end zone. Denver was ahead 7-0 over the Chargers. Later in the game, Ricky Hunley intercepts Mark Herman, who opened for Dan Fouts. He's in 51 yards for the touchdown. And the final score, it was all Denver playing in the snow. They'll have the home field advantage through the playoffs. In other games, it was the Oilers securing a playoff spot. They beat Cincinnati. Kansas City beat the Seahawks, but they're in. Philadelphia over Buffalo by 10. Detroit beat the Falcons 30-13. Atlanta has the first choice of the NFL draft in April. The Giants over the Jets in the Battle of New York. The Bears win on a field goal, 2 field goals from Butler to beat the Raiders. Monday night, the Patriots and the Dolphins play in a meaningless game. Now, the playoff picture is set as far as what teams are where. San Francisco, Washington, and the Bears division winners. The wild card game Sunday in the Dome. You'll see the Vikings meet the Saints. On the AFC side, the Colts, Denver, and Cleveland are division winners. Denver with the home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. The wild card game Sunday in the Astrodome has the Seahawks up against the Oilers. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the Saints team that they'll face in the playoffs and hear from Jerry Burns. Stay with us. Thanks for being with us on 4th Down and 4. The Saints will face the Vikings, whom they lost to at the end of last season and whom they struggled against in this year's preseason opener. Now, after losing to Washington yesterday, head coach Jerry Burns landed in the playoffs today when the Cardinals lost. Moments afterwards, we got these comments via satellite.
Well, you know, obviously I feel happy, particularly happy for the club. You know, obviously, again, my preference would have been to won the game yesterday and get in the playoffs under those conditions. But you know, the team played very hard. It was a tough game yesterday, and the game came down to 1 play or 2 plays, or perhaps it came down to who won the coin toss in overtime. And we're a good, solid team, and it's an opportunity for the team to redeem itself. We start with a more or less fresh slate right here, and so I'm happy.
A lot of people are going to be saying, well, you backed into the playoffs and you don't deserve to be there and so on and so forth. Will that criticism be an annoyance, or could it add some fuel to the fire?
Well, you know, I don't think we backed into the playoffs. You go back and look at the strike situation where we lost all the 3 games with our replacement team, and the team has been under pressure the entire year to win because of the situation that was involved with the strike. And you know, if we had played poorly yesterday and lost, and then the Cardinals were defeated today by Dallas, and I thought perhaps we would have backed into it. But we played a tough game yesterday, and we played a very tough team. So you know, and we got a good club ourselves. So I'm just happy for the chance, and I'm happy particularly for our ball club. We got some good players, and I'm sure they'll do a good job whoever we play.
Any preference as to who you play?
No, I don't have any preferences as far as the strengths of the 2 teams which we anticipate playing. I would just soon play the Saints because they play in the Dome Stadium, and we'd be a little bit more familiar with that type of terrain and that type of condition. But it wouldn't make any difference to me which team we played.
All right, Jerry, you wanted the Saints. You got them next Sunday. And we have our final Diet Coke ticket giveaway of the year tonight. We'd like to thank our Diet Coke sponsorship all season long. Tonight's winner, Pearl Wyman of Marrero. She'll get 2 Sugar Bowl tickets for winning. Thanks for sending in your names on the postcard. Stay tuned for the postseason 4th Down on 4 next Sunday night. We'll have more, of course, on the playoffs. And, Joe, I want to thank you, our special teams coach of the Saints. You get a tie clip from Sue's Jewelry in Metairie, 14-karat gold. You pin that on your tie when you take the microphone off.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us.
Okay, it's going to be a good challenge.
Yeah?
No question about it. I'm happy for the fans, and particularly a lot of the fans that who have stuck with us from the beginning, you know. And we have 2 right in our office, and that's Miss Ellen and Miss Fran. And I tell you what, we're going to we brought them a lot of happiness, and they've been good to us because they've been around a lot of coaches.
Jim Mora says the secretaries are just as important as the assistant coaches, the trainers.
Well, they're probably more important.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for being with us, and good luck, all right?
I appreciate it.
Good luck against the Vikings. All right, we have to head for the exit. I want to thank Joe Marciano for being with us. Jim Mora will be here next week following the wild card playoff game. Hey, Jim, take care of the flu, get well. The Saints will host the Vikings probably in the late afternoon on Sunday, but the league will make an official announcement sometime this week. Playoff tickets go on sale tomorrow at 8 a.m. The diehards are already lining up, and we leave you with scenes from tonight. Gate H, Plaza Level at the Dome. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, and have a good night, everybody.
Fourth Down on 4 was brought to you by Superior Acura, New York Life, McDonald's, and the Louisiana Coca-Cola Bottling Company, bottler of Diet Coke. The 1-calorie cola, just for the taste of it.